Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, January 22, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below, let me know what that's been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the 7-day precipitation forecast from the Euro as well as the GFS. As usual, we're going to be going on to the next one, just 68 hours. So focus your attention right here on the timestamp at the top. Focus your attention right here on Jamaica right here. And we're going to be looking for what we see here on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents up to inches of rainfall. So the latest here that came out at 3:30 p.m. today shows us that on Thursday, definitely not much in the way of rainfall at all across the island. But as we head into Friday, look at the abundance of moisture stretching from the eastern Caribbean to the south of Hispaniola, all the way down to the southeast and south of Jamaica. Very interesting. Some of this, according to the Euro, is starting to come into portion of eastern Jamaica on Friday. Even by Friday afternoon, some amount of rainfall. Saturday, we see an abundance of moisture to the south of us, stretching all the way into Belize and Honduras for sure. We also see some moisture across northern Jamaica. Very interesting. Heading into Sunday, we do see some amount of moisture across the Bahamas, into northern Cuba, to the north of Hispaniola, across the Turks and Caicos. We also see some rainfall across eastern Jamaica, as well as northeastern and central and western parishes during the afternoon. Very interesting forecast. Heading into Monday, however, we see that we have more whites on the island than anything else. Most of the moisture is to our north and south. Maybe some isolated showers during the afternoon across some western areas. Tuesday, we see some moisture to the south of Haiti, to the south of Jamaica, stretching all the way down into Nicaragua, Costa Rica right there. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Wednesday, January 29. And we can make out some moisture stretching from northeastern Jamaica all the way down to the south of us, down into sections of Nicaragua. We also see some moisture across eastern Cuba, northern Hispaniola, stretching all the way up, maybe associated with a frontal system. Let us see what the latest GFS that came out at 6:30 p.m. is showing. So clearly Thursday, not seeing much of anything across the island, more whites than anything else. It represents dry weather. But Friday, look at all of the moisture that we saw in the Euro stretching from the eastern Caribbean to the south of Hispaniola, to the south of Jamaica. We can clearly see some of it coming into section of eastern Jamaica right there, and even during the afternoon. But look at this, even Saturday, we especially see that rainfall across northern Jamaica. A lot of it across sections of Central America. Sunday, something similar, especially across northern Jamaica. Sunday afternoon, very interesting, that rainfall, not only across the north, but across the southwest too. Very wet Sunday afternoon for sure. Monday, maybe some isolated showers on the north, but we see an abundance of moisture to the south of the Dominican Republic, across Belize to the north of Honduras right there. Tuesday, maybe some rainfall across sections of Nicaragua, near Costa Rica, Panama right there. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. We're going to be looking for consensus. We're looking for similarities. And clearly, in terms of Wednesday, January 29, the similarities that we see, definitely across Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama right there. We also see some amount of moisture across eastern portions of the Caribbean, spilling into sections of northeastern South America, maybe Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana right there. We'll see exactly what happened. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast maps, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now all the way up until Wednesday, January 29. And we know that the most in the way of rainfall on these accumulated precipitation forecast maps is represented by what we see here on the key on the right. That's the reds into the burgundies, that's 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. The purples into the pinks, that's 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And the peach all the way up from 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. And we can clearly see that the most rainfall within the next 7 days should still be plaguing sections of the Yucatan, section of Belize, northeastern Guatemala, northern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, a lot of Colombia, section of southern Venezuela. We're talking about Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana too. And we clearly see that those areas are not only being shown here on the Euro, but even on the GFS to be receiving the most rainfall over the next 7 days. We can see up to 1 inch or maybe 2 inches of rainfall across sections of the Windward Islands, anywhere from Trinidad and Tobago northward, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, eastern Puerto Rico, section of the Dominican Republic, eastern Cuba, and even sections of eastern Jamaica. We clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS are in consensus with this forecast for the amount of rainfall that's expected, especially across central and northern portion of South America. So some isolated flash flooding could definitely be possible in those spots. So we're hoping that people are on their P's and Q's over the next 7 days. If we take a look at Jamaica's accumulated precipitation forecast over the next 7 days, we can clearly see that the most rainfall should still be plaguing northeastern Jamaica. We're talking about anywhere from Hanover eastward, St. James, Trelawney, especially across St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Now we see those greens into the yellows that represents 50 all the way up to maybe 40 millimeters of rainfall. Clearly, we see that Portland is the recipient of most of the rainfall on both the Euro and the GFS models. Look at this, the GFS showing the same area, Portland for sure, getting all the way up to the 40 millimeters of rainfall. Very interesting. They're used to it. We know they're located on the perfect spot for that northeasterly flow, that relief for rainfall for sure. That mountainous parish definitely going to be receiving the most rainfall over the next 7 days. And whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a ridge of high pressure right here to the north of the main development region. That's responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region through the Caribbean. We see a blue spike line right here associated with that frontal system that has been plaguing portions of the southeastern United States over the past couple of days with some amount of snow, but we don't expect that this is going to be pushing eastward at all. It's going to be pushed all the way right back to the west because of the ridge of high pressure's easterly flow. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely make out that low level flow of the low to mid level clouds pushing from east west across the main development region through the Caribbean. And we can make out the clouds associated with that frontal system right here, reaching all the way from the northern portion of North Atlantic to the east of the US, all the way down into portions of the Bahamas, Florida, western Cuba, section of Central America, getting on some amount of overcast skies, if not some rainfall as we speak. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, January 22, 2025. It was stated that rainfall was in the forecast for parts of eastern Jamaica on Wednesday morning, also affecting sections of some western parishes during Wednesday afternoon. And we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? As early as 4:50 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted right here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, as well as on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely see the Cuban Doppler radar imagery, and we know the Cuban Doppler radar shows the actual rainfall as opposed to satellite imagery that can show cloud cover, and we can't really make out where it's actually raining because of the cloud cover. But on the Doppler radar, we can definitely make out where it was raining. At around 4:50 a.m., we saw the greens, especially the ones out to sea that were pushing westward inland. And the greens we know represents moderate, that's moderate rainfall, some of which had some yellows embedded within that. We know the yellows represent furiated, that's stronger heavy rainfall. Definitely lashing portion of eastern St. Thomas, eastern Portland, pushing westward into sections of St. Mary and Ocho. Well, it's in St. Anne. Definitely got some comments from some person stating that Ocho Rios in St. Anne got some rainfall. Then by around 7:36 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted, and it confirmed what was happening earlier on the Doppler radar imagery. The clouds are bringing somewhat of overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, to sections of some northern and eastern parishes. Definitely St. Thomas, Portland, section of St. Mary, St. Anne got the brunt of this morning's rainfall. Then during the afternoon at around 4:25 p.m., the visible satellite images were posted. And they highlighted the cloud cover stretching from the east to the west, but pushing more so to the west, as we can see the east clearing out by the end of the day. And we can definitely make out some clouds bring overcast skies and some isolated showers to western Jamaica. Some of these clouds definitely brought some overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of inland areas of some central parishes too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can make out all of this that took place. Look at all the cloud cover across sections of Westmoreland, northwestern St. Elizabeth, and the inland areas of some central parishes. We're talking about maybe northern St. Catherine, northern Clarendon, northern Manchester. Definitely gotten on some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers for sure. Did you get rain today? Let me know in the comments down below. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite imagery, we can see that it wasn't anything drastic in terms of cumulonimbus clouds, as we know, that are represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, blacks, grays, purples. Nothing like that, just some low to mid-level clouds right here, as represented by the milky whitish shades. And if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, that was showing the flat bridge camera at around 3:28 p.m. We can definitely see people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of rainfall at all. We can see the real cobra is right there chilling for the time being, as we are going through the drier months. So this is expected. Either way, if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. This channel not only shows flat bridge, but crossroads. It also shows halfway tree, not to mention Barbican, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Alright, so let us see some of the comments from some of our followers as well as subscribers. We have Bob Brown 3953 stating, St. Mary, morning rain. That was 12 hours ago. Even on our Instagram page, we have Madame Cads stating it's raining heavily in Ocho Rios, confirming the rainfall in St. Anne this morning. We also have Marlon _1 God stating we finally got rain. Thanks for confirming that, Marlon. And even on our Facebook page, we had Verona Burke stating, as predicted, light rain in Ocho Rios. Thanks for confirming as well. Alright, so let us see what's happening right now. The very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website is showing that as of 0035 UTC, which is actually 7:35 p.m. So this just came out, 12 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:47 p.m. right now. Don't see much of anything across the island. Definitely clear for the time being. And the Cuban Doppler radar imagery is confirming this. The latest Cuban Doppler radar image is as of 7:40 p.m. So this just came out 7 minutes ago. And we can see that there's not much of anything happening across the island. But some of you guys might be saying, Weather Jamaica, what about all of this green, yellow, reds that we see across the north? Nope, all of that is ground clutter. And if we can't see anything on the satellite imagery to match it with, then chances are it's just that glitch in the system. This is why we need the Jamaican Doppler radar fixed, that we don't have to be dependent on the Cuban Doppler radar, which glitches out sometimes. Taking a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar imagery, just to confirm, we're not seeing much of anything across northeastern Jamaica, western Haiti, or eastern Cuba. Even the Cayman radar confirming what we're seeing across western Jamaica, southern Cuba, and the waters to the northwest of the Cayman Islands, where we're seeing some isolated shores right here in the blues and the greens. Taking a look at the very latest from the Barbican camera, we can see that it's a dark and fair night. Nothing in terms of bad weather taking place. People in their vehicles going about their business as of the latest time, 1947. That's 7:47 p.m. As usual, there's traffic on these roads. It's expected people in their vehicles either going to the night shift or going home. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 22 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Kingston. It could be lower, it could be higher than that. Either way, those are estimates from the weather, the windy website. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some orange colors. That represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we can clearly see way below normal temperatures in the blues, greens, and purples, still plaguing Central America and North America in general. Definitely getting on the very cooler than average temperatures as we speak. But Jamaica, 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. It has been very warm recently for sure. The average temperatures or normal temperatures for the month of January across the island is around 86.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's around 30.2 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from 30.2 to 32.2 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. And unfortunately, my JPS Online's Twitter page is highlighting some maintenance outage advisories. So we have to pay attention to these for sure, because we know that when we have power outages, it can definitely cause the heat to be worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down at all. So if you live in these areas, or if you work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way. Alright. So all of these, we're talking about Thursday, January 23, 2025, not 2024. They keep making that error even although they posted this on January 20, 2025. So we're talking about Middlesex, that's located in St. Elizabeth, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have Port Royal, that's located in Kingston, from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We're also referring to Galena or Galina, if I'm not butchering that place's name. That's located in St. Mary. That's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have Silverstone in St. Catherine, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have Hanbury in Manchester. That's 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Darlin Tober, that's in St. Elizabeth, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Belmont in St. James, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And finally, we have Greenland to Bach from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Either way, if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, you know the drill. We have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing, and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors, and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of drinking lots of water throughout the day. Even if you're not thirsty, drink a lot of water. Keep hydrated as much as possible. Put away those sugary drinks. Drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we can clearly see all of the dry air stretching all the way from Africa across the main development region through the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of dry air. And we know the dry air is what's responsible for putting a cap on the atmosphere, making it so hard for it to rain these days. We see Jamaica right here embedded in a lot of dry air. What we want to see is more of these. The blues that's sitting on top of the intertropical convergence zone. That's where most of the moist air is located. That's where most of the rain these days is located. Either way, as long as we're not getting in on that Saharan dust, as we can see here, we can clearly see the Saharan dust as represented by the slight brown shades across the southern main development region. And this is the forecast for Thursday at 2 p.m. And we're indeed grateful that North America, Central America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and Northern South America are all in the clear, because we don't want the Saharan dust at all. You know, the Saharan dust, especially if we get the dark shades of brown, can definitely cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're indeed grateful that we're not getting in on any of the Saharan dust for 2 p.m. on Thursday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, not much change. We see the vast amount of high waves across the waters of the southern Caribbean to the south of Jamaica, where we see the purples into the burgundies that represent anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe 4-meter wave heights. And we see on the north coast for tomorrow up to 1.1 meter wave heights, south coast up to 2-meter wave heights at most, and that's because of the winds that are expected. Clearly across the Gulf of Mexico, more of a northerly flow curving westward towards the south into Central America. Across the Caribbean, more of an easterly flow for sure, kind of curving southwestward as it hits Central America. And we clearly see the bright greens into the yellows represents 20 to 25 knots, maybe even gusting to 30 knots, especially right here to the north of Panama and Colombia. But if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the wind forecast, we can clearly see more of those green colors. We're talking about at least up to 16 knots on the north coast, south coast, 15 knots right there. You can clearly see on the north coast it's going to be more of a northeasterly flow. On the south coast, more of an easterly flow. Either way, whatever happens, a very interesting forecast. Not really sure, but maybe some morning rainfall across the northeast. Who knows? Or maybe across the east. Whatever comes off of the sea. Maybe during the afternoon, some isolated afternoon rainfall where we have the least amount of wind. Maybe nothing at all. We have a lot of dry air, so it's very hard for us to get rainfall either way. Upper level winds not that strong at all across the Caribbean. We see more whites than anything else. You know, the upper level wind shear, the strength of it is indicated by the blues into the greens, yellows, oranges, reds, purples. And we see the most vigorous wind shear should be across southern portion of the US into the eastern portion of the US. But across Jamaica, more whites, but we kind of have more of a west-southwesterly kind of flow with the upper level winds, but nothing too significant. We won't even notice that, especially considering that we don't have the upper level clouds to be blown off towards that direction. Taking a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 9 a.m. on Thursday, and we can clearly see that we have some differences. The Euro is showing some blues represent isolated shores across the far eastern end of the island, maybe eastern Portland, eastern St. Thomas. GFS, not so much of anything. We see some dots of blues to the north of Portland, to the south of St. Thomas, to the south of St. Thomas again on the Euro. Nothing too significant in terms of wide agreement in terms of the rainfall. The afternoon, another story with the same kind of pattern. We have the similarity though. For some amount of rainfall, if not to the east, to the southeast of the island. The Euro trying to bring some rainfall to section of northern and western parishes. The GFS not so much. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, the forecast is not going to be one that is accurate at all given the contrast in the model forecast. So we'll see exactly what takes place. Will the Euro win? Will the GFS win? Only time will tell. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast maps, the GFS not showing anything. More whites are representing no rainfall at all. The Euro showing some dots of greens across the north and the east. Maybe all the way up to 0.2 of an inch of rainfall, especially out to sea. We'll see exactly what unfolds. I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what happens on our other social media platforms. Either way, the lack of rainfall these days is expected. We're in the month of January. We're in our dry season. I'm pretty sure that you've been hearing a lot of fire trucks going around. If not, just wait until February. You'll hear even more. Putting out brush fires and whatnot. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 20 millimeters of rainfall for the month. And that's about close to an inch of rainfall. An inch is about 25 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 3 inches of rainfall. That's about 75 millimeters of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of January or for the entire year, you can visit www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice little graphic right here that converts rainfall that we receive on the rain gauge from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of clouds, low to mid-level clouds, that is pushing from east to west in that east to left trade wind across section of the Leeward Island through to Puerto Rico. Lots of clouds associated with the frontal system still bring overcast skies and rainfall and cool temperatures to sections of Florida, the Bahamas, western Cuba, section of Central America as we speak. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity currently lashing portion of northeastern South America. We're talking about French Guiana and Suriname right there, definitely getting lashed as we speak, associated with the intertropical convergence zones moisture. But if we take a look at what's happening across the northeastern Caribbean right now, we can definitely make out some rainfall passing to the north and south of Dominica, some rainfall to the west and the east of Guadeloupe, some rainfall to the west of Antigua and Barbuda, to the south of St. Kitts and Nevis, some isolated showers across section of eastern and northern Puerto Rico. And if we load these images from earlier today, we'll see exactly where it was raining at around 2:15 p.m. Not much across the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, or the eastern portion of Dominican Republic, but lots of rainfall passing through St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica for sure. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, not seeing much activity across Barbados right now, but we can make out some rain bands pushing from east to west towards Martinique, maybe some isolated showers, some light showers at that, towards St. Lucia. Not seeing much of anything across St. Vincent, but the Grenadines definitely getting some sprinkles here and there, pushing towards Grenada as we speak. Tobago, look at the line of showers pushing towards Tobago, possibly already taking place over there as we speak. Not seeing much activity across Trinidad right now, but that doesn't mean that it's not taking place. Let us see the weather if we have uploaded our images. Maybe something taking place as we speak across Trinidad. Don't see much happening across the ABC Islands. Don't see much happening right now across the northwestern portion of Florida, or, well, Florida or the northwestern portion of Cuba. But look at this, we see some moisture to the east of Belize right there. And if we take a look at where most of the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we can clearly see that the most rainfall within the next 24 hours should be plaguing these areas that we see the yellows and the reds into the purples. So we're talking about French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, some of this spilling into section of Trinidad and Tobago, southern Venezuela, western Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, section of Honduras. The waters to the east of Belize getting a lot of rainfall, the southeastern portion of the Yucatan right there. We can also see some rainfall, some isolated shores at that, in and around the Dominican Republic, eastern Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, pushing into sections of Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique for sure. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. And we know that when they're in consensus or agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.